Putrika, Karina, welcome to Electronic Music Live. So thank you so much for coming out today. I've got a few questions I wanted to dive in, but why don't you give the listeners a little bit of a background on who you are and your just a bit of your journey in Australia so far.
Sure. So I'm a singer, songwriter, and electronic music producer. My background is always singing since I was probably in kindergarten, always in a choir, in a band. And then, I moved to Sydney. It's going to be 9 years in February next year. So quite a long time. And then, decided to just stay here, started my music career here. And then I started making beats with machine. And then that's my starting point for making beats. And then I started learning Ableton 2 years ago. And then, because I had different bands and then it just went separate ways. So I decided for me to be able to still create music is by producing music by myself. So I just learned Ableton and then, I released my EP this year. Yeah, March 2022.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, well, I know like you've been, this is not just something that's just, as you mentioned, something that's happened overnight. Like you've been at it for a long time, 9 years. And you came to Australia during the lockout laws, and you're from Jakarta.
Yeah.
And what brought you to Australia?
So I moved here to study. So I did a master in media, and then when I finished that, I did diploma in music, like contemporary music performance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And music, you were doing music before, as you mentioned. You have a musical history from back home as well.
Yeah.
Well, Australia's your new home now, but your second home. But now that you've been here, that whole journey of like working with different bands and then finding your own kind of solo voice. I want to know a bit about that. Like, sort of how has it been for you to sort of, I guess you've been kind of creating this new manifestation of who you are as an artist, as a solo artist.
Yeah.
But also the I guess the systems or what's been available to you here in Sydney, and has that been supportive to you in terms of what's available to help get your music out there?
I felt like when I was back home, because Western musics, as in like MTV and all of those pop and R&B musics are really big, still big up until now. At that time, I felt like for me to be able to do music or be a singer is to be able to sound like Mariah Carey or, reaching those high notes and stuff. That's like the key to be a good singer. And then I felt like when I moved here and I give me exposure to different musics, it's kind of changed my mindset. Like you don't need to be able to, do this high notes and then do this all like runs, like all these big pop stars. And then eventually you will find like your own sound. And then, that's what happened. I listened to different music. I found neo soul when I moved here. And then I just listened to like different genres that I've never heard before, like jungle, like, all the different, genres that I've never heard before when I was in Indonesia. So it kind of changed my mindset about how to be like, just find my own sound and own voice. And then I think it's great because here I also found a lot of like mentoring and then free workshops for, emerging artists. Like for me, when I first started DJing, Aybetonye from Irregular Fit, which is a great DJ based in Sydney. She runs a workshop for like, people of color, different backgrounds, for them to learn how to DJ. And that's how I learned to DJ, and it exposed me to different musics. And then for like music workshops, for making music, producing music, it's great because, especially during lockdowns, a lot of different like companies or organization kind of starting to create like, a free music workshop. And then, I found this one back, the company based in US, but they did like music workshop for like women around the world for free. And they gave even like discount codes for buying like Ableton Push.
Yeah.
And then I used that code and I got my first Ableton Push, creating my own like EP through there. So I think it's really important, especially if you just started your journey, to be able to have that sources and knowledge for free, to just kind of like put your faith into the industry, just to see like, oh, do you like it? Like, is this the way that you want to go for your music career? So I feel like I'm like lucky to be able to have all of those.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you found that what was available to you in Australia, and of course mentorships as well. People doing these kind of programs have been very supportive.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And you got your EP out this year. Who looked after your PR and was it? Tell me a bit about your marketing and like who supported you with that.
Oh, it's all do it yourself.
DIY. Okay.
DIY.
Okay.
I think it kind of helped because my background, in bachelor and master is like media.
Okay.
So it's kind of like helped me. But it's also a lot of like Googling like how to write a press release and how to reach a radio. So it's a lot of time like self-promotion yourself to different medias. But also like as an artist, when you do everything by yourself, sometimes it's hard because you need to, put your time for like marketing and then put your time to actually creating music.
Gotta wear all the hats.
Yeah. So, but it's a good learning curve because you learning the industry as well. And then, who's your market. Although sometimes it's also hard because, I don't know, I feel like my music is quite niche. So even like, I don't know who to approach for like media or venues or organizers, like who loves my music? So it's like trial and error, but it's a good learning curve because how the industry works.
You start to learn all the different facets of the business and your own business for that matter, because you're putting all those departments together. But do you intend to try to like, as they say in business, as an entrepreneurial, like scaling up and then and starting to get the support from these other sources? Have you looked into that?
Yeah, starting to look into it.
Okay,
like,
good.
To make it like, bigger.
So you can focus on what you love doing.
I know. That's the thing. But yeah, let's see how the future goes.
Have you got? Because I've been listening to the EP monologue, the track monologue, and Wildflowers, and these are great tunes. I really enjoyed them. And I did the car test. I always like to listen to songs in my car. And if I'm bumping in the car, it does the trick. so I really enjoyed your music.
Yeah.
And
Thank
I mean,
you.
I caught your DJ set, which was quite different to from your music production. Tell me a bit about that.
Oh, DJ set. I feel like for my DJ set, I always like music with a lot of percussion sounds and then like really heavy bass and kick.
Yeah.
And then I always do like, listening to music everywhere I go. That's why I usually use like public transport because I just love to just like listen to music and just do whatever and then just listen to different type of musics. And if I like doing this,
that's it.
It's like people are gonna love it. So I just do that, and then it's probably a bit different because for my own stuff, my basic is like singing. I just love like to using my voice. While with DJ set, I want people to like do this when they listen to my set list. So it's just different things, but it's kind of like in the same, like, I want people to listen to my lyrics and then feel it. And then the other one is like, I wanted people to dance and know, like, different music.
Do you ever DJ your own music? Like, do you ever throw it in your sets?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, cool.
But I kind of mixed it with like other songs. So it fits with the vibe.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Nice. No, I guess you could incorporate, like, it's not uncommon where you sort of like do it your DJing, and then you play your backing tracks, and then you bust out your vocals over the top. Is that something you've done before?
Yeah, I did it in a couple of like DJs.
Cool.
Like I like mix it together with like other tracks.
Nice. Yeah, no, I found what I did find in your music production there's this, there's a housey element. Like there's a lot of house vibes and like New York kind of house vibes, and then you've got this indie electronica kind of sound as well, but there's also, I don't know, like if it was purposeful, but there is some sort of like an Asian vibe, like sounds going on in the background in the tapestry. Is this intentional or
no?
Okay.
Everything is kind of experimental for that EP. Even like I still have heaps of beats and drafts that I actually this week I just started to like choose, because I'm planning to have an album next year to like pick. But for the music production, I just use my Korg Mini Loc as a synthesizer and Ableton Push for the beats. And no, anything like unintentional. So I just like create this, these synths go together with this sound, and then just stack them together, and then started doing the singing. Maybe because like I'm Indonesian and a lot of like chanting and stuff. Yes. It's like, sounds nice. And so that's nice to hear. You can like, hear that. But
So and this release that's out now, that came out in March, is that the only stuff that you've got, or are there other new demos that you're working on at the moment?
That's the current one that I have.
Right.
But next year, hopefully, or beginning of 2024 album.
How far are you into it now? Like the new album, there's some new, like, have you laid down some ideas and stuff?
Yeah. At least I just counted. I already chose like 30 songs.
30.
But I just need to like.
That's 2 albums.
But I'm not gonna do it in one album. I just need to choose which one that I want to put it in the album, and then actually working.
I'm excited for this. Yeah. No, congrats. That's amazing that you've got that in the pocket already. You're almost there.
Just need to finish it, because most of them is like 1 minute or like 2 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So you need to make it longer.
Ideation. Cool. Well, I noticed it as well. You got on rotation on radio like this year, and that's a great accomplishment. Like, good little stepping stone. And you're getting support, and people are vibing it. How did that happen? Like, did you just, hey guys, play my music?
Exactly. I just like open all the websites of different community radios in Australia, and then find out like submit your music, and then probably email 20, 30 radios, and then got play on like a couple of them, and then it was great because I grew up listening to radio, so it's nice.
Was it mostly community radio focused?
Community radios,
Awesome.
But it's nice to hear my songs on the airwaves.
Yeah, it's great. Well, fantastic. And what about any other sort of press? Like, have you had people given you sort of stories in any kind of online press as well? Has there been some support?
There's like media in Indonesia that reported it.
Okay, cool.
About my EP, and then actually I just got interviewed a couple of weeks ago from this student from University of Columbia that run the music publication, because she found my music through Heartbreak High, the Reboot TV show.
That's amazing. You got picked up for that.
That's like a nice surprise, because the music company that approached me to use my music on there messaged me on SoundCloud. And I only had like 20 followers on SoundCloud. So I have no idea how you
That's amazing. So that was how they came across your music?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just like, we're from we compiling all the music for Heartbreak High. We want to use your music for one of the scenes. And then I was like, I didn't know Heartbreak High. And I asked all of my friends in the era. And they're like, it's huge in Australia. Yeah. And I was like,
Absolutely. I hope they looked after you.
It was great. And then, I looked up on my Spotify, listeners.
And I just nice little peek.
Went to different countries.
Yeah. I actually just watched the Reboot. And I thought it was really cool. I was really surprised. I thought it was they've done a really good job with the series.
And then a lot of Australian music in that series as well, which is great. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, new beginnings. this I wanted to. What was your connection with that? Like, how did you get involved with the New Beginnings Festival?
So I did a DJ set this year, New Beginnings Festival this year. Through Aybetonye. So Aybetonye, friends with Rafa, which is the curator from SSI, which is New Beginning Festival. And then I played the DJ set there. And then I did an interview a couple of months ago for Freedom Sessions, which is a part of New Beginning Festival as well.
It's connected, is it? With
New Beginning Festival.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a part of New Beginning Festival. And then, they're going to, my dance group is the Indonesian dancing group. They're going to perform as well for New Beginning Festival next year, in January next year.
Great.
So,
as part of the Sydney Festival.
As part of the Sydney Festival one.
And you've got something coming up I remember when we met a couple of weeks ago, you've got something coming up in Newtown.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
next,
I remember.
It's next week, 3rd of December.
And what's that again? Yeah, tell us about that event.
Yeah, so it's live. I'm going to do a live set.
Okay.
And I'm going to perform with Dr. Robot. He's also an amazing producer. We should have him.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Thank you.
But I did a set with, I did a gig in the same bill with him last month, and it was like a great vibe. Everyone just dancing, and it's also free. Yeah. So,
and where's it at? Where's it at in Newtown?
Union Hotel.
At the Union Hotel.
Yeah,
okay,
Newtown,
everyone.
3rd of December.
King Street?
King Street.
Yeah, hey. Awesome. And that's on the 2nd, I think. No?
3rd.
The 3rd.
The 3rd,
which is the Saturday.
Next
Saturday. Yeah. Awesome.
From 8:30.
And you mentioned before, how did you you met Aybetonye through Raf?
No, I met Raf through Aybetonye.
Through Aybetonye. Okay, and how did that come about? How did you and Aybetonye meet?
Through the DJ workshop from Irregular Fit that she organized.
Okay.
I think like 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she invited me like, hey, play for Rafa wants to find like DJs for New Beginning Festival. You should play for this festival. So I played on the DJ set at New Beginning Festival, met Rafa, and then to Rafa and the Mixagi family. I was like, oh, these all connections are so great. Especially if you just started your journey as a DJ and music producer, to be able to meet like a community that actually loves your music and, appreciate what you do. It's so important.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able, to meet all of these people.
What I love about your story is and I find inspiring and I hope it inspires others. And that's why I wanted to have you today, is because, you came from overseas, you've spent 9 years carving away at this slowly and trying to, and then finding your voice as a musician, as an artist. I mean, this is, were there times where you just felt like this is not going to happen? Like, what? Yeah.
I think it's just patience, I guess.
Yeah.
It's eventually like, it's just.
And what's been your secret that's kept you in there and kept you like wanting to create and find this? Yeah.
What's my secret? I think I just keep creating. That's the thing. Like, if you like believe in your work and if you believe in yourself, like other people will see it as well. And I think it's also like an important thing when you actually have other people that believe in your work. So I think just keep for me, it's just keep creating.
Yeah.
So I always find a time to keep making music, keep finding new songs, keep connecting with other people. So yeah.
Look, we all work like face, self-doubt, self-criticism, and what I'm trying to get at is how do you overcome that? What's the thing that sort of like crushes that when you've got that voice in your head that keep you going and keep you believing and because I think this is a lot of people get caught up in that sort of short-term gratification where they want quick results, or they want, that, and being able to just those small little wins, and keeping the momentum.
Oh, I don't know. I always try to stay positive.
Yeah.
I think, and then I feel like I'm lucky because I'm being surrounded by people that actually support my work. And even when I feel like, is this going to go somewhere? It actually doesn't stay that long, that thoughts. It's just for like a short period of time. And then most of the times I just
you shut it down.
Keep doing it. And then, writing a to-do list. What do you want to do? Long term, short term. It's kind of helps because, you have something to look forward to, and then,
And keeping inspired, and what are the things that you do to keep you inspired?
Listening to music.
Yeah. And making beats.
Making beats. Making beats. Yeah.
Just keep on making.
Keep on
short.
making. Even just short. Or even just, even if I have free time, I always, try to write something or, listen to music that I've never heard before. Or even calling my family and friends back in Indonesia.
Do you go back home often?
No, but today I just bought my ticket back to Jakarta in February. I haven't been back home for 4 years.
Wow.
So it's going to be exciting eating all the good food.
Yeah. So, coming out here 9 years ago, did you feel scared? Or was it just this is amazing.
Yeah. I think that's why I'm still here.
Yeah.
I thought I would be homesick when I first moved here, but no.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Well, do you think that has also been part of the building the momentum is that coming here to start something new in your life, that's part of what's been driving you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Awesome. Doing moving to a different country, starting a new life and a music career. It's an up and down journey, but I actually enjoy it because you saw yourself 9 years ago, and then now it's I actually be able to did something that I was kind of doubt that I'll be able to do 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And then now I'm doing it.
And back then, did you think you'll become a DJ and a music producer like this?
I know I always want to do music, but back then, 9 years ago when I first moved there, I thought I'm just going to be in a band, not because I always think for me to be able to do music is by doing it with other people in a band.
Right.
But then I think I just kind of pushed myself to be able to your own thing, and ta-da!
What were the bands? There's two bands or a few bands?
And
what sounds?
The one in Indonesia, it was with my high school friend. So we were together for 4 years. And it's kind of pop jazz kind of vibe. We listen to a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire, Incognito, that kind of vibe. Yeah.
Nice.
And then we did a lot of festival. And then when I first moved here, because I didn't know anyone, so I looked it up on, Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace to find a band and need a singer. So we just did cover. And then when I did studied music, I had a band named Kadimakara. It was me, a drummer, and a guitarist, and we just love neo soul. So we play, Hiatus Coyote, and
right.
we love.
Was a lot of covers and stuff.
We have our own song.
Yeah.
But then my guitarist moved back to Colombia, and then my drummer decided to be a chef. So I was how can I still make music? Learn Ableton, and then now I have my EP.
Fantastic.
So,
Man, and you mentioned Incognito. Were they popular in Jakarta?
Yeah, because in Jakarta they have Java Jazz Festival, which is one of the biggest jazz festival.
Okay.
And then when I was in Jakarta, I always try to go there every year. So it's big. Yeah. Incognito, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Wow.
What else? Oh, heaps. Like a lot of like jazz.
You sound so Aussie now. Heaps. That's it. You've converted. Too funny. Incognito. I mean, that's a cool influence. They're and neo soul was the sound of like what. So what other genres that have you worked with? Any other sounds?
So many.
Yeah,
I can't pinpoint.
The EP's got this sort of like there's that dance and electronic sound. Okay, where did that come from?
I don't know. I just like created the bass and I was like, I jam with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hearing your DJ sets, you've got you've got all these different, drum patterns from all over, like all these different, beats that are, so I guess, I don't like, the term world music, but there is that world electronic sounds. Yeah.
No, like I'm currently obsessed with acid Arab.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, cool.
I Had a Dream. Like all of those music producers that using like traditional sounds combined with like,
Yeah, I noticed in your DJ set you're sort of pulling in the Middle Eastern stuff as well. Yeah.
No, it's nice.
Cool. And then there's a lot of Afro rhythms as well. And was this something that is new to you, like all these kind of rhythms?
I wouldn't say it's new. I think I listen to them a lot, but back then, but at that time I wasn't into DJing.
Right.
So now I do like, more DJ sets. It kind of like, I built my portfolio of like sounds and musics. And because I'm also like a dancer, like I do Indonesian dance.
Okay.
So a lot of music that I choose, like, like if I can dance with it, like, other people can dance with it.
Right.
From the perspective of a dancer.
Yeah. Well, that's great to be able to combine that and using that with the way you program and select your music, right?
Yeah.
Super cool. Well, look, I thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
It was just awesome to have this chat. And I'm looking forward to all the new music and what's coming up for you.
Next year.
Yay.
Fingers crossed.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, James.